Trump halts planned Iran strike as high-stakes nuclear standoff intensifies. A dramatic new chapter is unfolding in the growing crisis between the United States and Iran. President Donald Trump has confirmed that he halted a planned major attack on Iran at the last moment, saying diplomacy may still prevent a wider war in the Middle East. Speaking from the White House, Trump revealed that American forces were fully prepared for a large-scale military operation against Iran, and according to the president, the strike was only about an hour away from being approved before he decided to delay it. Trump explained that several Gulf allies, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, requested more time for negotiations with Tehran. The president said those nations believed Iran was beginning to show signs of flexibility behind closed doors. Despite pausing the operation, Trump delivered a clear warning to Tehran. He said the United States remains locked and loaded and fully prepared to launch military action if Iran refuses to abandon its nuclear weapons ambitions. Vice President JD Vance reinforced that message during a White House briefing. Vance said the administration still prefers diplomacy, but emphasized that Washington will never accept an Iran with nuclear weapons. According to Vance, there are now only two paths forward: a negotiated agreement that permanently blocks Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons, or renewed military operations by the United States. The tension comes as the Strait of Hormuz remains partially blocked, creating serious concern for global energy markets. The waterway is one of the world's most critical oil shipping routes, with nearly a fifth of global oil supplies moving through it every day. Leaders from the G7 nations issued a joint statement calling for the immediate reopening of the Strait of Hormuz and warning that continued disruption could damage the global economy. Officials from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States stressed that stable energy markets are essential for preventing economic chaos. At the same time, oil prices unexpectedly dropped after Trump announced the delay of the planned strike. Investors appear hopeful that diplomacy could still avoid a larger regional war. Trump claimed he remains optimistic about reaching a peace agreement with Iran. He said there is now a very good chance of a deal and repeated that his main objective is preventing Tehran from obtaining nuclear weapons. However, the president also warned that if talks fail, military action could resume immediately. Trump told reporters that American warships and military assets are already in position and ready for action. According to him, the operation could begin on very short notice if negotiations collapse. Meanwhile, Israel is reportedly preparing for the possibility of joining any future U.S. strike against Iran. Reports from Israeli media suggest Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently held a 5-hour emergency security meeting with top military leaders to discuss readiness for potential operations. Israeli officials reportedly believe Iran is unlikely to make the major concessions demanded by Washington and fear military conflict may still become unavoidable. At the same time, the United States is increasing economic pressure on Tehran. The Treasury Department announced sweeping new sanctions targeting more than 50 companies, vessels, and individuals connected to Iran's financial and oil networks. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent described the sanctions as part of a broader campaign called Economic Fury, aimed at crippling Iran's ability to fund military operations and regional proxy groups. The U.S. State Department also announced a reward of up to $15 million for information that could disrupt the financial operations of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, also known as the IRGC. Officials claim the IRGC uses cryptocurrency accounts, shell companies, and secret banking systems to bypass international sanctions and finance militant activities across the Middle East. Military tensions in the region continue to rise as well. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper told Congress that the U.S.-led maritime blockade around Iran has already turned away 88 ships and effectively stopped trade moving in and out of Iranian ports. According to Cooper, the blockade is designed to pressure Tehran economically while negotiations continue. However, lawmakers in Washington remain deeply divided over the administration's strategy. Some Democrats questioned whether the White House is moving too aggressively toward another major conflict in the Middle East, while Republicans accused critics of undermining national security during a dangerous international crisis. During one heated congressional hearing, lawmakers debated civilian casualties linked to recent military operations, including allegations involving a strike near a school in Tehran. Military officials denied intentionally targeting civilians and said investigations into the incident are still ongoing. At the same time, reports emerged claiming that dozens of U.S. aircraft may have been damaged or lost during operations connected to the Iran conflict, though the Pentagon has not officially confirmed those figures. Adding to the growing instability, the United Arab Emirates announced that several hostile drones were intercepted over the past 48 hours, including drones linked to an earlier attack near the Baraka nuclear facility. UAE officials claimed the drones originated from Iraqi territory and warned they reserve the right to defend their national security under international law. Meanwhile, Trump also revealed that Chinese President Xi Jinping personally promised him that China would not send weapons to Iran. Trump described the conversation positively and suggested that both Washington and Beijing share an interest in keeping the Strait of Hormuz open because of its importance to global energy supplies. According to Trump, China depends heavily on oil shipments moving through the region and does not want the conflict to escalate further. Back in the United States, Americans are already feeling economic pressure from the crisis. Gas prices have risen as uncertainty in the Middle East continues, though Trump told voters the increase would only be temporary. He insisted that preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons is more important than short-term energy costs. The president also argued that financial markets appear confident that peace negotiations may still succeed, pointing to recent gains in the stock market. Despite the diplomatic efforts, Trump made clear that the military option remains very real. He said Iran is begging to make a deal, but warned that the United States may still have to deliver what he called another big hit if Tehran refuses to compromise. Trump ended his remarks with one of his strongest warnings yet, declaring that he will not allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon under any circumstances. He said, quote, "I'm not going to let the world be blown up on my watch." Now the world waits to see whether diplomacy can prevent another major war in the Middle East, or whether the current pause is only delaying a much larger military confrontation. For now, tensions remain extremely high, global markets remain nervous, and all eyes are on Washington, Tehran, and the next move in one of the most dangerous geopolitical standoffs of the year.